We are back live, coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio today. Also AMFM, 247.com. Tune in, iTunes, and of course you can find us each and every week over there at JiggyJaguar.com. And we have got a great guest that we are going to be chatting with here in just a few moments. And you can download our archived audio, because we can't call it podcasting anymore because the radio industry has decided that podcasting is an outdated term. You can go over to our website at JiggyJaguar.com and get that. My continued fight against the radio industry. And so, Elena, welcome to the broadcast. How are you, my friend?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm doing great. I have a cat that might be deciding to get in on this.
Hey, that's fine. We have our producer here, Peter. He shows up every once in a while.
He's also feline?
He is a cat, yes.
Yeah. Mine is a rescued Siamese, and he's very, you never know, he's very neurotic. You just never know when he wants his attention, but when he wants it, and then other times he could care less. So...
That is awesome. That is fantastic.
Yeah, so thank you for having me on, and you are in the Midwest as well.
Unfortunately. I am in the Midwest. So you have been all over the place fairly recently, been making a lot of headlines, been on a lot of radio and TV programs. Tell me a little bit about how we can find you online, social media, all these things.
So I have a website, Elaina St. James. That's ELAINA, ElainaSt.com. Also, if you are, if you don't want to spell it all out, you can find the main sites on iwantelena.com. But on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, I am Elaina St. James. On my OnlyFans, it's Elaina_Saint_James. But I try to keep it very consistent so that it's easy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. At least you're, at least you got the marketing part of it down, which is awesome.
Right. Well, actually, when I was looking at the name that I was going to use, I mean, clearly we know we have stage names. Jiggy might be your God-given name.
Hey, I'll tell you, it's just like they say in the world of pro wrestling. Everybody's got to have a gimmick. Elena is your gimmick. Jiggy is my gimmick. Exactly. Although the lovely and talented Britannia likes to refer to me as Princess. But
wow,
I am Jiggy for this. I am Jiggy for this purpose. Yeah. She says I'm a diva, which I don't quite believe that I'm a diva, but apparently I'm a diva.
Well, isn't diva, that's a relative term.
There we go. I'm going to show her this clip. There you go. Now, Elena, tell us a little bit about your OnlyFans.
So my OnlyFans, I started just under a year ago. So this is a whole new world for me. This is like if you discovered it and you decided you were going to get into OnlyFans and just start taking pictures of yourself. I was you about a year ago. And I had read some news articles and I thought, oh my gosh, if I could make 1/10 of what this particular woman was making, she was making six figures a month. I thought this could be life-changing. I'm a solo mom. I mean, I'm it. And I had a kind of a dead-end job in an office that was providing, but we were struggling, as so many do. And I had kind of a more high-powered career back in my 20s and 30s, but I traveled a lot. It was a sales career where I traveled around the country mostly, sometimes internationally, in sales. But when I became a mom, that became my priority. Yeah. Primary priority. And so I'd stepped away and gotten jobs that were more befitting of a hands-on mom. So I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, I could work from home and take sexy pictures and not have to be like in physical danger because I'm at home. So I started taking pictures. I started doing Instagram. Now, of course, I always thought, like, I'm 54. Like, what are the chances? But my expectations were very low. And
Yes.
then all of a sudden I realized that I had this market of young guys. I had these fans that had these fantasies about being with an older woman. And I was like, really? Because in my real world dating life, men around my age, sometimes I would see on their dating profiles, they would be looking for a woman that, I mean, their range, so say at the time I was 45, their range would be 18 to 40, and they'd be 45, and I'd be like, really?
It's basically there's a lot of men that fall into the old Tom Likas way of thinking, which is boys, your dream girl right now is just wait on her. She's standing in a movie theater with a Hello Kitty backpack. That's basically, they say your trophy wife is there right now. Just give her a few years, and then when she grows up, you'll be able to date her. That's basically what men nowadays are supposedly looking for. However, I will have to say that a lot of young guys are looking for chicks like you. They want the MILFs. They want all that.
Yeah.
And, hey, I say, have at it, Hoss.
Well, and here's the thing, Jiggy. I started, so over this course of the year, I am somebody that's curious by nature. I found it fascinating because, I went through the conventional wisdom of, younger. Hey, I can appreciate a younger body and the beauty that comes with that flawless young youth. But they started telling me, they were like, no, actually, I like that you have a stomach. And I'm like, well, good, because I like to eat. And I don't like to work out constantly.
Yes, that's fantastic.
And honestly, I got to the point where in dating, like, I realized, like, the best guys that I was in relationships were not really skinny. You know why? Because guys that have a little meat on their bones, they like to eat. They appreciate pleasure. They don't restrict themselves from pleasure, and they actually make better boyfriends. They just do. And so when these guys were like, no, we like your stomach, and I'm like, you do? Oh, good.
That's awesome.
It was good. They liked that I had a natural mom bod, and it was fascinating, but then they also started sharing with me things that did make sense. They talked about what I coin self-created drama in younger women. That a lot of times younger women create drama just to make things interesting.
Yes.
When you're over 35, especially when you're over 40 or 50, you know what? I've lived it. I don't need that kind of drama. I'll watch a movie or I'll watch some stupid TV show to get drama. I have enough drama. I have a kid. I have aging parents. I've gone through health crises. I don't need that kind of drama. But when you're in your 20s and you don't have a lot of responsibilities, like, for instance, one of the things, Jiggy, like, I remember getting booty calls in my 20s, and sometimes they were okay to get. Sometimes that was exciting to get. I recently had an old boyfriend send me a text at 11:30, and I went nuts on him because I was just like, what are you doing sending me a text at 11:30? I thought it was going to be my mom, and she fell down and she hurt her hip, and it's a different sensibility. We can still have fun, but we realize that fun doesn't have to be drama.
Yes, I completely agree with you on that.
Right? Exactly. So I find, there are good things and bad things about the dynamic between a younger guy and an older woman. And I talk about that on my book, How to Date a Hot Older Woman.
Yep.
I made it short because I was told by men.
It short. That's awesome.
I did. Not all long things are good, but I made it short because the guys were like, well, don't make it too long. Can you bullet point it? And they just want
Jesus.
They just want the information, and I don't blame them. I think we all have attention deficit. That's why TikTok is popular. That's why Instagram is. we are, we are a fast culture, and we want the information in tidbits. So I wrote the book, and I've gotten really great feedback from guys that are like, first of all, it's better to read something by a woman who actually knows her stuff. You are giving us inside baseball stuff here. We can't get this from the other books that we've seen that are written by guys. They think they know because they think they got game. But if you really want to really understand what an older woman has to give and what she's looking for and how you can turn her off like automatically, or what you can do to intrigue her, now you have actionable skills to like legitimately talk to an older woman and have a chance at a date or maybe a relationship. But part of that is communication, and I address that in the book.
That's awesome. So this book, you've put a lot of time and effort into it. What do you want readers to take away from your writing of this book? Well, from my writing, I think, first of all, it's not just for younger guys, because it's really anybody that wants to. In fact, I had a woman, she's a lesbian, and she was like, I found this very helpful because I want to date older women. I'm not even that young, but it gives me a good kind of feel of like, what's the difference between if I'm dating a 25-year-old woman and a 45-year-old woman? Like, it just gives me some insight. So what I want them to take away is there are definite similarities because women are women. Like, I still want to be called beautiful by a man that is interested in me romantically. I still want all of that stuff, and I want the passion, but there are some things that I won't take kindly to, and I have different priorities than I did when I was 25. So I've been young, I've been old. I've been young, I've been old. That's awesome. I've been old. I mean, I turned 55 in May. So but you don't look it, by the way. Thank you. Well, that's probably part of my appeal. It's all my clean living. It's all my clean living, and and makeup. But anyway, it's important. It's important for me, for guys to just realize that a lot of this comes down to, and as an OnlyFans creator, it's jarring, some of the interactions that I have with some of these young men, because they don't get it. That's one of the reasons I wrote the book. It's like, whoa, I don't know if this works on a younger woman. It shouldn't work on any woman. It shouldn't work on any woman. And exactly. I'll tell you, there are some strange things that men are saying to women out there online. There was a buddy of mine way back in the day. His name was Cowboy Vic. And, of course, he had his own little rhyme. And Cowboy Vic with the big dick. And Cowboy, I get it. Yes. I get it. And I would go to the library, and we'd be working on things in the computer lab right next to him. He would be on, and I don't know if you remember these at all, but Yahoo groups and Yahoo chat. He would say some of the most horrible things to these women. And then I would get calls from him on the weekend. I need you to come pick me up. I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere in Kansas City because I'm up here. I just banged this chick, and now something's happened, and I'm out. The fact that he got in the door, though, that was the thing that got me. But that's because it was probably a younger woman. Younger women are so much more willing to give second chances or to be to overlook things. There's many ways of saying this, but Maya Angelou said it's like, believe them the first time. When somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time. I am more apt to go by that because I don't have time for the games. And it's funny because guys always say they don't want to play games. I don't want a woman that's a game player. Well, then be authentic with yourself. Be authentic. Do what you say you're going to do.
And chances are, not always, we all have to wade through people that aren't good matches for us, but chances are if you come at it as authentically you and just be direct, you're going to get that back. It's like, but a lot of times these guys, and I'm sure girls too, that say something like, I don't want a guy that plays games. If you really dive into their psyche, they're playing games too.
Oh,
like
yes.
Right? It's usually
Yes.
it's that projection. It's like, or if they say like my ex was a psycho, and then you start getting to know that person, and you're like, oh, you probably made her psycho. Your actions probably made her kooky.
You probably made her psycho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
notice that.
We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us here on our big broadcast, Elaina St. James. And I am going to attempt to get a hold of Big Will. I don't know if Big Will be able to join us because I'm just calling him out of nowhere. So we're gonna see if Big Will will pick up his Skype and chat with us. But Elaina, how do we get in touch with you online?
Well, online, I want Elaina.com. The best way, if you want to chat with me, the best way is to go onto my main OnlyFans page. Because I'm very grateful for how many followers I have on Instagram, these sort of things, but there's too many DMs from all over the world, like literally all over the world.
Too many DMs from all over the world.
All over the world, and I get them thousands. So even on my OnlyFans, and I'm very happy to be, the top 1%, blah, blah, blah. I have a lot of fans there, and I handle my own page, and I talk, I do talk as much as I can, but it's funny because as a creator, like, we have to be taking pictures.
Well, that too.
So we can't chat all day. And I'm a mom, and, I have 3 fur kids, and they're demanding, and I have a human kid, and
Siamese.
I have a house. There's just stuff that I have to do. And it's funny, guys will be like, oh, what are you doing? Are you bored? I'm like, I'm doing laundry, and I've got to get my, kid from school soon. Like, I live like a normal life, but I just do this as my job.
Do you do Sext Panther and all these other things?
I tried Sex Panther a little bit, but it didn't work for me because, again, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm always moving and stuff. I don't have time, and that's the same thing with like video calls. I don't have time to sit and wait and talk to somebody and hope that they're going to show up, or I just don't have that time. My time is very limited. So I haven't done it. I tried it very briefly, and then it was like, okay, this isn't going to work for me because I just can't dedicate. It's kind of like camming. I can't dedicate that time to just kind of sitting there and hanging out, and I got too much to do.
Got too much to do. Well, the only reason I bring up the Sext Panther thing is because there is a friend of mine who we went and visited her in Colorado, and she is on Sext Panther, and she gets all sorts of nonsense from all sorts of people. And she was telling me that, she'll just get these random texts, and she's like, they don't go anywhere. And she's like, they got to spend money. That's why I'm doing this crap. You got to spend money.
That's just it. It's like, it's like sometimes, and that I found that, and sometimes that can be one of those things, like it's that weighing of, okay, you spent maybe $5 to get onto my page, and now you want to chat about like that you just finished a puzzle, or that, you did this or that, and it's like, there's only one of me. There's only one of me, and I don't have time. Do I wish I did? I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't even know if I wish I had. But there's only so much time I have.
Yes.
And it's a business. I'm not doing this, and it's not a dating app. Like, this is a OnlyFans, Sex Panther, all these things. Guys, this is our business, and time is money, and you wouldn't expect to talk to a lawyer or a therapist, not that we are either, but you wouldn't expect to talk to a professional in their office all day long, multiple chats, without at some point paying for their time.
Yes.
You know? I mean, hey, I sold cars for a year. I remember we would see these, what would they call them? Lot lizards. Have you ever heard of that term?
Yes.
You have heard of it?
Yes.
I had never heard of it. So they would be like, oh my God, that's a lot lizard. They will take up your time and you just don't go near them because they'll just talk to you and they're never going to buy and they're going to talk to you all day long. So, you know, it's kind of like that. You just have to be conscious. And the guys
lot lizard. Okay. I always heard of lot lizards in the trucking industry.
Oh, right. That would maybe be another way. That's different.
I was just like, lot lizards taking up your time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what they do, honey. What is?
Yeah. You know what? Who knows? Remember, I was a new person. I was only for a year selling cars, and I was with all guys. So they probably coined that, and then they probably laughed at me because I didn't know what the real thing was.
Well, either way, it what is this? Okay, I've got all sorts of people calling, and they don't need to be calling. We have got Elaina St. James with us today. She joins us here on our big program. She joins us coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio today, and also AMFM 247.com. So you've got this OnlyFans, you've got the book. How is the book doing?
The book is doing well. I mean, I just really released it. I guess my expectations are, I don't know, let's see what happens. I did the audio version, so you would know something about this, just because it's, audio. That was fascinating to just put on the headset and then read it. So I read all 62 pages. Do I sound blonde? Oh my goodness.
Wow.
But I read the whole thing. And it's funny. Have you ever done an audiobook, Jiggy?
No, I have not, but I've known a lot of people that have done audiobooks.
Right, and then they read it. And after that experience, I was like, holy cow, what? If you had like a 400-page or 500-page book, that's a lot. Plus, as I'm reading it, even though it had been edited, there would be certain times I'd be like, oh my God, that is a run-on sentence. Who wrote this garbage? Me, I did. And it would be like I'd run out of breath.
Me, I did.
I'd run out of breath. I'd be like, who wrote this long sentence? How can I possibly get this all out? And then we'd have to start again, and I'd be like, okay, take a big breath of air. Get this whole sentence out.
Well, Elena, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on our program. I definitely want to do this again because you are amazing. All the different things that you've talked about today, a lot of your life experiences. You are fantastic. So I definitely want to chat with you again. Before we let you go, how do people get in touch with you on your OnlyFans and everywhere else?
Well, my OnlyFans is Elaina St. James, and there's an underline under each. The best way, the easiest way is iwantelena.com. Go there. There's my private page. Click that. Come on board. Say hello and tell me that you came from Jiggy's show. I don't know if I've got any special treat for you, but I'm sure
I don't know if I've got any special treat for you, but well, Elena.
I've got about 1,000 photos on my site, so those are all special treats. But anyway, I'd love to hear that somebody, heard me on your show.
Well, you are amazing, and I look forward to chatting with you again. Thanks for doing this.